Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.
Before we dive into today's episode, I am so excited to share with you a brand new, absolutely delicious snack that you have to try. And it comes in all sorts of sizes. You can buy some from yourself. They come in these amazing, beautifully packaged gift boxes to give as corporate gifts or gifts to friends. It is Paktli, Paktli, and it is an amazing company. Paktli means joy in the ancient language of the Aztecs, and they have made these delicious handmade traditional Mexican desserts with bittersweet chocolate and dried blueberries and cacao nibs and dried cranberries. They are all gluten-free, all organic, and everything but the white chocolate is soy-free. Now, they also have, because you know we're very much dairy-free, they have dairy-free options as well. This company is a company for people who love to read labels, who care about natural whole foods, and who like to buy organic products with simple ingredients and no additives. Y'all, this is an amazing snack for the whole family. We have both the crumbles and the full cookies. The crumbles are amazing just to snack on. They're amazing on top of other desserts, on top of apples, like apples with peanut butter, and sprinkle this on top, and even with milk for a really delicious treat. You just add a little bit of plant-based milk in there, and it's like the most delicious cereal you have ever had. Now, they sent me a discount code to give you guys, and you can use discount code ROOTCAUSE15. That is discount code ROOTCAUSE15 at paktlifoods.com, PAKTLIFOODS.com. You'll find the link down below in the show notes on your favorite podcast provider. Hi, friends, and welcome to the first episode of season 7. That is absolutely insane that we've been doing this for 7 years. So first, let me thank you for all of your questions, all of your time spent listening to this. And hopefully I can continue to serve you in a way that you enjoy listening to these episodes. As usual, today is Energy Medicine Monday. And so today I want to talk about something that we're going to call the magic of the belly. Okay, the magic of the belly. And we're really going to talk about ways that you can support your digestion, which ripples out to all other aspects of your life. And we're going to simplify it a lot, but we're going to use the energy of breath to do that. Welcome. If this is your first time listening, I'd like to take a quick minute to introduce myself. I am a root cause clinician specializing in helping women to stop masking symptoms and start healing from those chronic symptoms and autoimmune diseases. I work with many people who have tried it all and still aren't at the level of health and wellness that they desire. So we work together using a non-traditional approach. I use naturopathy, functional nutrition, functional wellness, and energy medicine. So I specialize in helping you to start your own root cause revolution to rebalance your body so it can heal for good. So if you're done with Band-Aids and you're ready for real solutions, you are in the right place. All right. The magic of the belly. Think about what we refer to when we are referring to strength, to spirit, to bravery, right? We say guts. You have the guts to do it. So what is it about this hidden part, really, essentially, of our body that you would have to have X-ray vision to see, and that we associate with will and courage and resolve? It's kind of an interesting connection, right, between inner strength and intestines. But it begins to make sense when you take a closer look at both the energy and the science behind it. And it really starts with something that's mentioned in neither breath work, typically, or digestive health. And that is a little muscle that's responsible for what passes through your digestive tract. It's also responsible for how deep you can breathe in, and that is your diaphragm. When we use energetic therapies, energetic medicine, energy medicine to slow down your mind, it also improves your gut health. And that is thanks to the impact of that kind of dome-shaped muscle, the diaphragm. And I've seen it with people who have just a little bit of gut sensitivity, all the way to leaky gut, all the way to IBS and Crohn's. And the diaphragm can be really, really beneficial. I've seen it transform the way these people's lives work. If you're thinking about the human body, the diaphragm is a big muscle that separates our chest cavity, where our lungs are, from our abdominal cavity, where the gut is. And it kind of wraps from one side of the rib cage to the other. And it's one of the really big key structures involved with our breathing. So when you breathe out, the diaphragm acts like a lever, and it increases the pressure around the lungs to push the air, the carbon dioxide and the waste products, out. And then when we breathe in, ideally, our diaphragm moves down, and that allows the lungs to expand both down and out, and all of the oxygen to come in. If you are just regular, kind of what they call quiet breathing, you can move about, the lungs and the diaphragm moves about 1 to 2, almost 3 centimeters. If you are more athletic in condition, or if you're used to forcibly inhaling large amounts, the diaphragm can move 10 centimeters, even more. So that movement, that change of pressure, creates a space in the abdominal cavity that is crucial for digestion. So when the diaphragm moves down, it massages the gut contents, easing the transition of food through the digestive tract. It also stops acid and fluid from coming back up. So you can think about how water flows to the area of least resistance. It does the same thing inside of your body. Now, when the digestive issues start, usually we can at least partially trace that back to a diaphragm that isn't working as it should. And so when that diaphragm is restricted, it could be because the muscle's tight or because it's not expanding properly. And we'll talk more about how to fix that in a minute. It changes the internal pressure of your body, and it ends up being not optimal for digestion. So that changes how fluids and solids move through the gut. And so a lot of times when I have people that say, you know what, Audrey, I am doing everything right. I'm doing everything right. I'll start asking about stress. Well, what about stress? How's your stress? Because stress is intimately connected to how we breathe. So if you make these negative changes in the cavity pressure, these subpar pressures for digestion, then it increases things like constipation, bloating, cramps, diarrhea, or even acid reflux, okay? This sort of dysfunction in your diaphragm or restriction ends up happening mostly unconsciously for people. If you've ever noticed yourself holding your breath or taking more shallow breaths when you feel overwhelmed, then that short intake means that the diaphragm doesn't rise and fall as it should. That leads to gut problems. Even if you're not really a stressed person, but you run, for example, or you lift weights, or you do some kind of high intensity interval training, or even yoga, and you're not breathing properly, then that diaphragm doesn't rise and fall as it should, and it should lead, it isn't rising and falling as it should, and it will lead to gut problems. So the big question becomes, what do we do about it, right? What do we do about it? And the easiest, most accessible way to mobilize the diaphragm at home by yourself for free is simply belly breathing. So that means it's kind of counterintuitive, especially if you're around my age, counterintuitive to the way we were taught when we were younger, right? You suck in, breathe in, and suck in. And that's not exactly how it works. You should be allowing the belly to expand as you inhale and come in as you exhale. It sounds like something that should just happen, but try it. Most of the time, chest and ribs move, but belly expansion barely happens. So I want to introduce you to a breath technique that really helps to expand the diaphragm and slowly teach you how to breathe with your full belly. And with enough practice, you'll do this without having to really focus and do it. So to start, I want you to sit up tall and place your hands on your belly. You can also lay flat and do this. If you're going to lay flat to do it, I would love to see you with your feet flat on the ground, your knees tented, and laying flat on your back, okay? Now, the first step is to inhale through your nose. Try to get a count of 4. I like to inhale for a count of 8, but your inhale, and when you inhale, you have to think, push the belly out rather than expand the chest. Okay. So your belly should fill up first, and then the chest expansion should be the last thing that happens. And then on the you're going to hold that for 4 seconds. And then on the exhale, you're going to squeeze it all out and exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds and inhale. And this is called box breathing. And it is a really great technique to start your breath healing journey. Now, as you get more experienced in this, then you can increase the amount of seconds that you hold each breath, and then eventually even begin to have your exhales last longer than your inhales. So for example, the box breathing, 4 count inhale, 4 count hold, 4 count exhale, 4 count hold, and then repeat, is really good for daytime work. And you could keep it a box breathing metric as long as you have 4 equal sides, right? So you could do 8 seconds in, 8 seconds hold, 8 seconds release, and then 8 seconds hold, and then start that over again. If you wanted to do this to, say, help yourself drift off to sleep, then you want to make that exhale a little bit longer. I always have my patients try to get to 20. So you would inhale for a count of 8, hold for a count of 4, and then slowly exhale for a count of 10. This is all through your nose, by the way, mouth closed through your nose. And then start over. And lengthening that exhale really tells that nervous system to just relax. And I'll tell people, do this 20 times and you'll fall asleep. Most people report that they can't get past 6th or 7th time before they're out like a light. So just to recap what we're talking about today, the diaphragm is one of the most important and energetic pieces to your healing journey that you can manage. And often it's where we start before we start doing any kind of nutritional changes or supplementation changes. If you aren't setting a foundation with good breathing, then it doesn't matter how good the food that you put in is, it's not going to come out right. Does that make sense? So thank you so much for listening. I'll be back on Wellness Wednesday and then again on Ask Audrey Friday. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me for all these years on this podcast. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.